Alright everyone, the self-proclaimed thought police at CNN tried to take down some mocking video footage Mark Dice compiled about them. And he made a video basically mocking and satirizing CNN, saying, oh, they're fake news, which they are. They're outdated, they're dying, which they are. They're trying to move online and then they pull this shit. I'm sure it'll work out well for them. And it didn't work because Mark Dice, has more than 1 million subscribers, can tweet at YouTube's handle and actually get a fucking response. They say, oh yeah, sorry for the, it was an accident on our part. We don't know what happened. You know what I think happened is CNN itself, through some official account, complained to YouTube. And they said, we know you can't take it down, just set it to private, because we don't want people to see it. Big mistake. Because the alt media doesn't hold punches. See, somebody in the alt media is different from a pundit, different from a CNN. There used to be a time years ago when the CNNs and the Foxes and all of these other cable networks, they would headhunt after celebrities. They would headhunt after politicians. They wanted to scoop one another. They said, wow, we can drag these people over the coals. It'll be great TV. Let's ram something that's interesting into the ground. We'll keep talking about it. We'll get nasty. We'll do actual yellow journalism towards people that in some cases actually deserve it and get hot scoops, and it'll be good for the ratings and we'll get money, and then the advertisers come and say, that segment was pretty funny. They don't do that anymore. That's why CNN is having problems right now. Nobody watches cable. Like millennials, everyone's cut the cable. I don't know anybody personally in my life who hasn't already turned off cable. I don't know a single person other than my parents, which is unfortunate. Got them to cancel all their newspaper subscriptions, though. Did manage to get that accomplished. Nobody pays attention to cable. They use on-demand if they're watching TV at all, or they use the internet on their TV. If they're listening to radio, increasingly, it's satellite radio. It's like Sirius or something. If they're listening to anything else, it's just, hey, I listen to music. Or they just hook their phone up in their car. They listen to music that way. They stream that off the internet, too, off of some cell network. Not listening to NPR or any of this bullshit. CNN is out of its league. I don't think they've quite realized this. I'll spell it out for you. I'll spell it out for the cable news people, all the morons, all the geeks on cable news. You're not fighting any specific individual within the alt media. You're not fighting any specific smaller time web-only news firm. You're not just fighting Mark Dice or Molyneux or any other person. You're fighting all of us at the same time. That's your loss. The collective audience is 10 times the size of CNN's top ratings for the best slots. You've fallen behind groups like the History Channel in most slots anyway. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares about what your so-called consensus reality consists of anymore. Good. It'll be better for the world if you crash and burn and stop existing altogether. YouTube needs to stand up to these people. YouTube needs to assert itself. They need to say, our platform is gigantic. CNN is tiny compared to us. We don't have to care about you. If you don't like what some user is putting on here, some user with 1 million people that'll watch that content, driving a massive, for one person, not a network, not an organization, one friggin' person, driving millions and millions of views, millions and millions of minutes spent on that content, racking up gains all across the board. You're asking us to try to censor this very successful person to benefit your dying platform because you want to stream on our site. YouTube needs to give these people an ultimatum. You can stream on the site. You can get that money. You can get that viewership on the web because we know, cable is dying off and YouTube's bigger than all of cable at this point anyway. We know you've got problems. You try to do on-demand. Nobody pays attention to it. They're too busy watching Game of Scones or some vacuous content like that. We know you've got problems. We're doing you a solid here, letting you nest on our platform with your parasitic content anyway, despite the fact that you already upload clips of your content to your official channels anyway, as though that wasn't enough for any other randomly chosen user. But we're not going to let you bully the independent content creators because screw you. You're not going to censor them. You put your own... You go ahead and call out Mark Dice if you want to and say, well, it was misleading. You do that on your own stream. Do it on your own channel like anybody else on YouTube. YouTube's too big to fail at this point. YouTube's too gargantuan for them to reasonably give a shit what happens among the 60-plus demographic that still watches CNN? Or the 69-year-old demographic that watches Fox? Why should they care? YouTube's a juggernaut. You don't have to care. That's my advice. Go ahead and wine and dine the advertisers. I've already spelled out how YouTube could solve that problem. Double-tiered advertising. One for edgy content, one for tame content. So you let all the talentless hacks that come here to produce their nonsense, you let them take those nice tame ads. Because they've got nice tame viewers that are easily amused. They're not very intelligent. For everybody else, let them take don't demonetize their content. Just let them have just the edgy ads. Company wants to sign up. Hey, we want to put $1 million of ads on YouTube. Okay. Do you want it on just tame content, just edgy content, or you do not really care? You want it on everything. That's the way to go forward. YouTube will make a lot more money. You'll probably make hundreds of millions of extra dollars a year that way. That way the advertisers can't complain. You chose the category, advertisers, and we just determined which channels fit into which one. You know, if you don't want it on a certain channel, that's fine, but we're not going to demonetize everything completely. They're trying to set Mark Dice's video mocking CNN. He shows the tags, he shows the title, there's nothing actually misleading. There's no misleading thumbnail, there's no misleading tags, there's no misleading text, and they say, well, your video is misleading, so we set it to private. Since when has that been part of the terms of service of YouTube? Since when has that mattered to the people of YouTube and people giving the job, oh, YouTube's making a mistake here. Trust me, YouTube didn't take initiative to set this to misleading. Trust me. YouTube did not make that decision on its own. CNN contacted them. Guaranteed. Had nothing to do. No middle-level staffer at YouTube. Oh yeah, this content, it might piss CNN off, and I really care about this issue, so I'm going to start a shitstorm with a major, like a gold-level content creator. I think that's a good idea, and they actually had the clout to do that. No, it involves somebody a lot higher up than some middle management sort of head mod at YouTube. It involves some high-level official at YouTube, probably Google itself, having been communicated directly with by CNN. That's what it involved. No, it didn't involve some random moderating staffer. They wouldn't have had the ability to do that. They set it to private. They didn't even take the video down. Someone reports a video. Some routine moderator is capable of making the decision to have it taken down. That's true. But to set it to private, to unilaterally decide, yeah, we're just going to disappear the video. Only the uploader themselves will be able to watch the content. No, unless it was an automated strike involving copyright or something like that, that's not how the system works. Somebody decided to use a little bit of a workaround. They probably thought that it would improve the situation because they weren't giving him an account strike. But Mark Dice has more than 1 million subs. He also has a major presence everywhere else he chooses to be. So he just tweeted at YouTube's own handle, got the video restored very quickly. So what's YouTube saying? Oh, there was no actual, there's no actual problem here. Well then, would you care to explain how you set it to private in the first place? YouTube should throw CNN under the bus on this one. Don't take responsibility for those people. They're not the ones that built this platform. Independent content creators did. You look at the number of people, how many people have actually signed up for YouTube's like news streaming bundle? 10 people? Maybe 100 people or something like that? How many people are actually using that? How many people said, yeah, I know I'm on YouTube, where I have access to literally anything under the sun, but I think I want to watch corporate media like I could on TV. How many people have actually done that? How much clout does CNN actually have? You go to CNN's channel, look at their view count. It's less than people with 1/10 their subscribers. You look at the ratings, they're abysmal, just like they are on cable at this point. Now, Mark Dice and people like him represent the future of media, the future of entertainment and infotainment and everything else under the sun. I see a couple days ago, Alex Jones sort of on Twitter with PewDiePie saying, oh, DM me. Now people are thinking, oh, PewDiePie is probably going to go on Alex Jones' show. I hope he does. And I hope he spells it out for all of his generally younger fans on there and says, yeah, independent content creators are being attacked openly by the lamestream media in both the US and his UK and his native, I believe it's Sweden, if I remember correctly. They're attacking independent content creators. They're trying to censor things because they want to control the flow of information and because they're scared. They see cable's dying, they're like, oh, we need a way out, we need to move to the internet. But the only way for them to compete with people who already established themselves years ago on the internet is to try to censor and bully them. And a lot of these tech firms don't want to do that. They're like, oh, we're fine. We've got all the independent content. It's driving a lot more revenue and a lot more views than CNN ever could. Why should we listen to this other company? Why should we give them the time of day? Now, YouTube snatched this up to outcompete all these other tech firms that might want to have a news streaming sort of bundle service going on. That doesn't mean that you have to listen to them. I'll go further. I hereby exonerate YouTube of responsibility here because I know what happened. It wasn't YouTube taking initiative. YouTube didn't decide we're going to screw Mark Dice today. We're going to screw a major content creator. Because reasons. It'll be good for the platform to piss a million people off. To let him grandstand on Twitter and on YouTube with a second video. It'll be wonderful for us to get reamed by so many people. No, it's not wonderful, and YouTube knows this full well. They're not dumb. They didn't build this platform by being dumb. Google's not dumb. You can think they're evil, but they're certainly not fucking dumb. Didn't happen. Somebody at CNN saw it, and they complained. Just like they complain about other people's content. They complain constantly. CNN wants to talk about bullying online. What do they do all day? They check through your garbage to make sure that you're loyal to cable news. Yeah, screw them. They don't even belong on YouTube. YouTube should threaten to kick them off and say, no, we're going to remove you from the streaming bundle and let your competitors run roughshod over you online if you keep it up. Shut up and deal with the situation. Why don't you produce your streaming material online, okay? You can be edgy online. Why don't you compete with people by actually being entertaining for once because you don't have to worry about the FCC finding you? That's what they should tell them. You want to work on a second show? YouTube's willing to help you. It'll be watchable. Your average audience won't be, septuagenarian or something like that. Why don't you do that for them? Drag them into the modern era. This isn't the 1970s. It's like, these people don't know what they're talking about. They're going after a major... It's like just like when the Wall Street Journal went after PewDiePie. How well this will work out. We're going to call him a Nazi based on nothing, really. And potentially get threatened with legal action by defaming him. We think it's a good idea to piss off somebody with, at that time, 50 million fans. We think it's gonna go wonderfully for us. He has more fans than we do. Let's punch upwards because it'll get us attention from the youth demographic. Like anybody's gonna care, like anybody actually supports that sort of nonsense. I'll tell you another secret. Nobody wants to be censored. If they're on the left, they don't want to be censored. If they're on the right, they don't want to be censored. If they're a centrist, if they're apolitical. Doesn't matter what religion they have, what race they are. Nobody wants to be censored and harassed. They want to put their views out there to compete in a free market of ideas. That's sort of what the internet has always been about. These companies that are rambling about net neutrality and how it's important, yeah, it is. It's also important that you be neutral towards your users' content if it's not encouraging illegal behavior or is itself illegal behavior. Someone's posting like revenge porn on YouTube or something. Okay, ban their account. Otherwise, you should leave them alone. If they've got edgy political speech, they're going to drive a large audience. Yeah, it's going to be an edgy platform. What's wrong with that? Look at the success of satellite radio. Terrestrial radio gets dumber and dumber. More and more channels get amalgamated under Clear Channel. They get more and more regulated, and you've got multiple layers at that point of regulation. It's like the FCC was tame compared to what came after. So people start moving to satellite radio. Now, a significant proportion of anyone who listens to radio at all use satellite radio to get that edgy content. And it makes more money. And it just works better in every possible sense of the term. Why do you think that happened? It's because all the young people that you want as fans, they don't want censorship. They want to be able to hear "damn it" in hell on the air. Well, they want to see that online too. If YouTube censors its own content, makes it very dry, very tame and boring, somebody else will come along and gobble up all the edgy stuff. They'll become the next big juggernaut. It happens over and over. Tech firms need to cut off the head of the snake and realize what no other wave of communication technology has ever realized, which is that if you strangle it with censorship and PC bullcrap, it becomes boring and antiquated and becomes a relic. It becomes something interesting from the past, That's what needs to be recognized. I would stand with Mark Dice on this one. No, he shouldn't be harassed. And he did the right thing by telling YouTube, hey, what's up here? What rule did I break? Why was it set to private? Did the right thing. Yeah, independent content creators have to stick together. That includes, by the way, traversing political paradigms. That means people on the left and on the right, centrists, everybody else, it doesn't matter how fringe or how like normie they are, they all need to stand together because they're all creating the same style of content. They can all say fuck on YouTube, and nobody's going to give a damn about it. They're not going to get banned for saying the F word on YouTube. Set to 18 plus? Yeah, maybe. Who cares? Who cares? The average person using YouTube is an adult. Who cares if some 12-year-old isn't watching your content? Is that the kind of audience you want anyway? No, it's for somebody like that, they'll watch the Young Turks or something like that. And they can see Zhenk pretend to be very, very angry all the time. Something along those lines, like when Crowder shows up. And Zhenk gets hot under the collar. And of course, during that period of time, I said, it's very funny, but I'm not sure this is the best strategy to use, honestly, all things considered. But YouTube needs to stand up to these cry bullies in the lamestream media. The paradigm shift goes beyond the political. I said that a year ago, and I predicted that the lamestream media would begin lashing out at independent content creators. There's no better way to describe what's going on right now, and it's going to keep happening, but if we stand together, we win. They lose. They don't have the money. They don't have the online clout necessary to combat so many independent content creators. It's not possible. There are too many of us with too many fans. All you need is a few thousand of the largest presences on YouTube to get together to combat them. You don't even need everybody on the platform to be in agreement. You just need enough people with enough fans to be immobilized enough to fend them off. To say to YouTube, hey, respect our space. We're not, we're going to call them out. If they want to call us out, let them go ahead and do it. Let CNN make videos on its channel calling out YouTubers. See what happens. See how long CNN stays on YouTube or retires in shame because they get 99% dislike ratio or something like that. Let's see what happens if the alt media actually ends up in an open fray against the lamestream corporate media and see who wins out. It won't be the corporate media. They will lose so quickly and so handily their heads will spin. That's probably what they're worried about. They want to shield themselves and pretend that it's you. Oh, YouTube, yeah, we didn't contact YouTube to have this video suppressed. YouTube took its own initiative. Bull crap. YouTube didn't take initiative. YouTube didn't go to Mark Dice's channel and say, wow, this might piss off this service that's streaming on our platform. We'd better silence this. No, that didn't happen. Sorry, but it didn't. Impossible. Absolutely impossible that they would have done that. It was CNN's fault. They contacted YouTube. They raised a stink, probably threatened to leave the platform. Oh, these people are slandering our company on here. That's probably what happened. So who cares? Let them be mad if they want. They had their shot. They had their shot on cable. Cable wouldn't be dying if they were actually entertaining, actually informational. If they were saying something worth saying. If people gave a damn about them on cable, they wouldn't even try to move online. People would still watch TV. There's nothing on there worth watching. Anything worth watching that's not online is on demand now anyway. It's not on regular cable. Oh yeah, let me tune into the Fox News channel. Wow, it really pumps my nads. It's gonna be great. Let me watch Rachel Maddow. She's got an expose on farming practices. Whoa! Hard-hitting TV. Tonight, Lena Dunham will show up on CNN and give her opinion about politics that she doesn't fucking know anything about. That's what it's really about on cable. It's boring. Nobody wants to watch that shit. No, they're tuning into me. They're tuning into Mark Dice or Molyneux or any of a million other people online because it's fun. It's like when I go around on YouTube, because I don't just make content, I watch content. Who am I watching? Do I go to CNN? Do I go to Fox? Do I go watch these people cry about the fake news of the alt media? No, I watch the alt media. I watch Molyneux, Sargon, people like that, because it's funny. It's entertaining. It's real. It's somebody. I actually know a little bit about their personal life at least. I know something about them. There's something to tether me to them that makes it more personable. Like, I'll respond to comments or messages and stuff like that to the best of my ability. There's a lot of them, so it takes some time. They do too. That's something different. Like, when did you get a response from CNN? Oh yeah, I got an idea for a good story, or I've got a comment or a question. Yeah, they read out like 2 tweets on the air, and that's their idea of public outreach. They stream, they still won't let you content. Yeah, you can't even content on half of these groups' content online. You go to their websites, oh, comments closed because trolls or something. Who cares if there's trolls? They built the internet. The internet was built by trolls. The internet was built by people like Bill Gates, who would not take a shower for a week to show up to a boardroom meeting. Steve Jobs, a serial backstabber who stole other people's ideas, berated them constantly, and had bipolar. These are the people that built like tech, not some nerd at CNN. You're Johnny-come-latelys. So that's the differentiation. The alt media was bred under this situation of sort of pro-trolldom, like lash out at society because society's boring. The internet's happy and exciting. There's stuff on it that's worth watching. And it needs to stay that way. Otherwise, the internet will eventually be replaced. Somebody will make a competing form of the internet, and it will take off. Don't think it's beyond the methods of technology to do so. Don't think that it's impossible for that to happen. That's about all. Peace out.